Hello and welcome to the Daily Grind here on Latte Firm. It is Monday, the 2nd of March, and Arsenal have crept a little bit closer in that title race as we go 5 points clear, thanks to a 2-1 victory over Chelsea at the Emirates Stadium yesterday. But the Premier League leaders were far from our best in a very tight 2-1 victory. And now the set-piece narrative has gone absolutely wild on socials. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Are Arsenal ruining football? Are Arsenal bringing the best out of football? That's what we're going to discuss tonight. We're also going to talk about the game itself, talk about the title race and where it leaves us, and talk about how to get the best out of our attackers. And I'm particularly pleased to be able to talk about all of this stuff with a very good friend. And there's a reason why I've not brought him on screen just yet, because he's been away from the channel for some time. So I want you guys all to sort of welcome him back in the Latte Firm style that we all do. It is, of course, Wazza. How are you, brother?
Hello,
It's
mate.
good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good to see you too. It's all been going off this season, hasn't it, mate? Been a bit exciting, and we're very much in the thick of everything now for the next few months moving forward. And it's nice to be creeping into March in all four comps, looking strong and battling away. Yeah.
Indeed. And listen, obviously it has been a while. We're going to talk about football. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on all things Arsenal, all things title race, all things quadruple, dare I say it. But before we do that, you've been away for a while from socials, from Latte Firm. You've been going through a personal journey on your own. Do you want to sort of share with your sort of loyal viewers as to what you've been up to?
Yeah, essentially. You can probably notice I've lost a hell of a lot of weight. um, the last couple of months have been quite tough. Basically, just before Christmas, I was feeling incredibly down. It's been quite a while. Sort of, I was feeling these kind of symptoms. Didn't really understand what was going on. To the point where it's almost embarrassing to say, but awful thoughts. Really deeply low and not understanding of anything. And then gradually, all of a sudden, I just had some rapid weight loss, and I took myself to the doctors, admitted finally that you can't carry on, and you do have to admit and say there's something not right here. And yeah, went into the doctors, basically just broke down and said I'm not really sure what's going on, and they took bloods from there. At first, he thought it was just a mental breakdown or whatever, and stuff like that, but. Within the next sort of 3 days of leaving the doctors, I had a lump appear on my neck. I had like a 5.5 centimeter tumor growing on my thyroid, and then that escalated to scans, biopsies, and then yeah, I had to basically 3 weeks. I had surgery within 3 weeks. So my first my first scan was on the 2nd of January, and I literally had my on Friday the 13th of February. I had my surgery. So. It's been a bit of a roller coaster. I stopped going Arsenal. I hadn't been, I've not missed a game home and away for a long, long time, and it's very, very rare. And I couldn't face it, mate. And I was struggling, really struggling mentally. And people won't realise, but the thyroid function, it absolutely controls everything in your body. Like some of the symptoms I will have, I was up 15 times a night. As I said, I've lost 14 kilograms in total. Weight wise, obviously, I was having lots of sweat, so I had constant tremors, really, really weird symptoms. But the worst one of all, it was just deep depression and anxiety, and to the point I couldn't get myself down the Arsenal. Wouldn't enjoy anything, and thankfully, since the surgery, all them symptoms have stopped. It was successful. They removed the tumor. I'm waiting. I've got a meeting next week, later this week actually. But as far as I'm aware, I'm in the clear, and one day at a time, and back up and running. But I went to the Emirates again for the first time yesterday, and just standing there and North London Forever ringing out, and it's a great feeling to be back. And the sad thing was, during that entire time, it strips you back to a point where you just don't feel anything, and you can't really understand it, and football just become secondary. But to me, it's my life, and it's something I've done since I was a kid. I've always been lucky enough to go and as I say, home and away, and to just stop like that, and just lose the football and the joy for it. I mean, it to the point I'm sitting there watching us on TV, absolutely batter Bayern Munich, like the best team, and I just felt no emotion, and it was really, it really, really takes it out of you. So it's kind of good to say to people, if you do experience something that you're not sure of, go straight to the doctors. Like, don't be too proud. If you do feel depressed, if you do feel sad, if you do feel down, just get yourself there, because it is so important. And I'm as bad as anyone, especially men. Get yourself down there, because it's easy to say, no, I'm fine, I'll get through this. You know, we all have tough lives, we all work hard, we all, you know, have got our issues. But honestly, it's really important to take them steps, because if I didn't, you know, I dread to think where you could be, you know, now. But I did. I've had the surgery. I'm fighting fit. I'm not 100% match fit yet, but I'll tell you what, I was back in the squad on yesterday, and it was brilliant to be back. And I'm going to head to Brighton, head to Mansfield, and then yeah, and as that says, health is wealth, mate, and that's literally the case. But yeah, got a nice little scar. I've lost some weight. I was a bit quieter than usual at the football yesterday, but I will be back. And as I say, didn't want to, just to gloss over it, and just to say to people, it is important. Do get checked, and you know, and do go out there, and yeah, because it can happen to anyone at any time, and you just got to come through it and battle through, and get the 3 points.
Well, listen, we don't normally do shows and sort of start like that, but we talked about coming online before we did, and I didn't want to put any pressure on you, and I know you've been through a lot. We've been obviously in contact via WhatsApp, and I've known you for a long time. And when you first broke the news to me, I was devastated for you. And I think the message that you're sort of giving out, everyone's sort of showing you a lot. I don't know if you can see the comments, was because I know you're on your phone or your laptop. There's a lot of people showing you a lot of love, and the message there is, you know, just look after yourself, and anything that you feel that is wrong or different with your body, go get it checked out. There's no point sort of sitting on it and being too proud. So many people sort of saying that they're so glad to see you on the mend, and dealing with a tumor was, I'm not going to pretend to say that I know I can imagine what you went through, because I can't. I've seen, you know, you sent me pictures, and you've taught me through so much of the detail. You sent me pictures of your scans and stuff. And I'm so pleased to see you on the channel. So pleased to see you smiling. So pleased to see you back here with me and just having a conversation. Han of Arsenal's here saying massive shout out to us. Great message, great platform, wishing you all good health and all the very best. And so many people are just sending in their love, which is just so great to see. And at the risk of sounding insensitive about your health, obviously we wish you all the very best, and I hope that the, you know, subsequent sort of checkups and processes all go brilliantly for you. I do want to get your thoughts on football, because I've missed you, man.
That's the most important thing, mate.
No, man, but you know I love you, and I want you to look after yourself and just take every day as it comes, and we're always here for you, man. So Beauty of the Pencil says, greetings, Latte firm and guest. Salute to all in the chat. Lots of people are so happy to have you back. Right, if you're good, let's do this. Arsenal content, by the way, ladies and gents, if you're missing out on some of the content, you can get Latte Fix now. Your fix, Latte Fix, your Latte Firm Fix on TikTok. I don't know what I'm doing on the platform, I'll be honest with you. Every day is a learning point for me, but it's taken off, and it's just, you know, different content to YouTube, different sort of match day experience, my thoughts at random points in the night, or when I'm having a spare moment at work. Do get involved on TikTok. But was the first place I want to start is, obviously we've beaten Chelsea again. Your first day back at the Emirates after a long time yesterday. What was it like? Tell us your emotions.
Yeah, sensational, mate. As I say, emotionally, it was quite a lot, but it was nice, you know, and it was good to feel that buzz again, because it's something that, as a match game fan yourself, and obviously people all across the world watching the games, but to be able to go and walk in, and I often feel like when you walk and you come out of that little section and you walk down your stairs to your seat, you still get that buzz, you still get that same energy, and especially when things are going the way they are at the moment, and you know what, when every time you're in there, the pressure's on, but it's enjoyable, and you've got to take the enjoyment. But yeah, just walking down, it's like it's that old cliche when you're a child and you walk out for the first time and you see it. But I'm just a 36-year-old child, but like I still feel like that every time, mate, and I love it, and yeah, North London forever echoing around the stadium, great rendition of it. We're up for it, we're ready to go, and yeah, you're back. You know, you're back, and you feel it, and the energy and the passion and everything that's going on at the moment around the club. We're just in a really good place.
You say we were up for it, though, and I know obviously personal circumstances, as you just talked about, your first time back at the stadium for a long time, but what was your mood ahead of the fixture? Was it a game that you were expecting us to win? I mean, if you just cast your mind back a few weeks with the Forest draw, the Liverpool draw, the Brentford away draw, the Wolves away draw, all seems quite painful when you think about it. But then the Spurs, the North London derby win, that was a massive lift to us. I mean, were you optimistic and confident? Were you a little bit nervous? I mean, I was an emotional wreck.
I was fine because I do tend to believe that with City winning and although the pressure's on more, it kind of means Arteta has to win. And I get the impression that we go out knowing we have to win this game. Like, okay, the pressure's the higher, but I fancy us more when we're in that scenario. Whereas, some of the other games, you like you're talking about them Forest, it's frustrating. Like the drop points are so frustrating. And if we do fail to win this title, there will be a number of occasions we can point to and say too cautious, didn't go out there, didn't go for the kill, and that's completely fair. But then, as you say, you get performances like Spurs. You go to Ellen Road and absolutely slap them, which no one, that's them kind of performances do not get spoken about enough. So it was always going to be a tough game against Chelsea. They're no mugs. As much as I think he's a wally, I think Liam Rossini is he's got a tune out of them, and they're difficult to beat, and you can see they're difficult to beat. I know they've had a little bit of a wobble lately, but they're they're a well drilled, energetic side. João Pedro is very very good centre forward. He gives you trouble, but I just I was confident that we would turn up and do the business, and I think the biggest strength for us at the moment by a mile is our squad. It's incredible the strength in depth, the ability of the players, the rotation, the quality we can bring into a game. And it's, even the silly subs like Trossard for Martinelli, it's like chalk and cheese. Like the second Martinelli comes on, there's a threat, and that's how the red card happens. We'll go into stuff, but it's so nice to have these options and to see if Odegaard's not in there, then Eze's available. Then we got Havertz coming back, Odegaard's going to come back, Ben White's not even in there at the moment. We got so much quality. Calafiori coming back. You're just really confident that if something is going wrong in game state, we can deal with it and we can find a solution. But yeah, I was more excited. Weirdly, I would say I'm feeling the pressure. Of course you are, but I was more excited and thinking, look, we have to respond here. They've won. They've got the points in the bag. It's our turn, and if we keep winning, there is nothing anyone can do about it. So you just got to keep that mentality. You just got to keep on top and and take a game at a time. But there's only 9 left now, mate.
Don't was. I want to get your rallying call towards the end of the show. Dan says, if you rewatch the game, we weren't as bad as it felt. Just a nervous game. We played well apart from the last 20 minutes or so, which is what I want to come on to. And we'll talk about David Raya as well. If I bring through the Opta analyst attacking threat chart, this is of the second half. And then Scott Willis's stats on the right-hand side for the last quarter of the match. So if you imagine the game broken into 4 pieces, that's sort of halfway through from the second half onwards. And you can see the last 10, 15 in particular were not very comfortable. And it's not the first time. Why do you think this is happening?
Stress, pressure, cautiousness from the manager. I do believe. I tend to think when we get ahead in games, we sort of revert to structure, and I feel like it's very rigid, and there's not much fluidity when we're trying to move. Players are all over the place. We're getting, Calafiori when he plays pops up on the right wing. That happens, but then I think we kind of revert to being rigid. And the problem with Victor Gyökeres, he's a bit like a trampoline, bless him, because the ball it's never going to sit.
You so much, man.
But it's not, and that's not a slight on him, right? He's a unique player that is very good at what he does. He runs channels, he buffets the centre backs, he occupies spaces, But what he is not is a player that you can rely on to hold the ball up. And I do think in certain games when you've got a front three, especially when we've seen it a couple of times when you have Martinelli, Madueke, and Gyökeres, the ball don't stick. Like it's boing. Do you know what I mean? It comes straight back off. So when with Kai Havertz coming back now, number one, his pressing ability from the front, Kai Havertz, is absolutely out of this world, and that's going to make a huge difference to us. And Havertz and Odegaard were, a massive part of why teams struggle against us so much, because we can. But not just that with Kai. Kai can run channels. He's a very, very good player at doing everything. But his biggest thing for me is he can hold the ball, and he'll drop into midfield and he'll create the extra man, and there'll be a link play. Whereas at the moment, when you go to a rigid structure, Gyökeres becomes pointless, because you can't just fire the ball into him because it's going to bounce back off of him. And then he hasn't got the opportunities to run channels, and there's not so much fluidity and not so much movement. But I think with Victor lately, when he's been at his best, we have been seeing that, and we are sort of interchanging. But I do think we kind of go more rigid, and Arteta, whether that's reverting to type. I remember when he first came, and that would happen every time. We'd take the lead and we'd just drop off, drop off, drop off. And if we conceded, we'd then open up again. And I think the stress, the pressure, the anxiety, the PTSD of the last few seasons, like all of these things are, realistic. They're going to affect you. But I just think that was a game yesterday. We just had to get over the line, and you're not always going to be sensational, and you're not always going to be absolutely hammering teams. Like it's okay, but yeah, I do think that is a thing with Victor, and I think he will not be playing as much when we're winning games, if that makes sense. And I think at the moment, Jesus obviously still trying to get back to fitness, and Kai coming on, and he's going to be really important for us these last few months. Kai Havertz, and it's a lot to rely on him after being out for so long, but I do think he's going to be huge for us, and I think that will take away some of the anxiety because he will then be able to we'll retain possession higher up the pitch, and we keep it more. But it is weird because players like Zubamendi, and they all seem to just sort of all go all funny for some reason. But these big leaders, these big men, they stand up. I mean, Declan, we know what he's an incredible footballer. All of these guys are top players, but it's in it, and that's what matters now. And if you can, every game we have like that where we don't play well, but we do win the game, and we hold off, and you're right, we might have been struggled the last 20 minutes, but we got through it. And all they do, every time you get through one of those, you take it with you to the next game because it's so important. And in the past, when you crumble and you lose them games, it's really hard to get them out of your head for the next one. So I do think it's a mixture of both. I do think it's a little bit with Mikel, and I do think it's a little bit on the players. But I do think as I said, I kind of think we go rigid, and then there's no fluidity. Gyökeres, it doesn't stick, and it kind of then becomes we're dropping in and we don't need to, and the only out ball bounces back to you, you know. And I don't think when Kai's back and fit and firing, I think that will be quite different for us.
I hope you're right. I mean, you talk about it being sort of anxiety or nerves or excitement. I don't know, but I didn't enjoy that last 20 minutes yesterday. And when you look at the stats, we completed 7 passes in the final 11 minutes of the game.
Mm.
I mean, that is
Shocking.
mind-blowing. Yeah, absolutely shocking for a team of such quality and such caliber. But what I would say, that kind of was going around the stadium, and there might have been a few of us that were really optimistic and sort of holding on to our hats and really sort of testing our mettle. But for a lot of us, I mean, my ass had gone at like 65 minutes. So I got to be honest. I was thinking to myself, there's that famous sort of video of that guy just going, I don't have the capacity. Like, I was that guy. I was that guy in the stadium. Like, I did not. The team carried me through it. And there were fans around me, one or two were a little bit confident, but most of us were just emotional wrecks. And that does seep onto the pitch. And this is where everyone talks about, Pep's got the experience, and there are players in that City team and other teams that have gone by over the years that have won league titles. They know what it feels like at the business end of the season. Is that potentially one weakness for us, do you think, that, with only 9 games to go in this league campaign, as the pressure cranks up and the volume dial goes up and all the attention is on Arsenal, we've got a massive couple of fixtures against Manchester City in the next, 4 or 5 weeks, one at the Etihad in the league and obviously at Wembley coming up soon. Do you think we've got the mettle? Do you think we can deliver?
Why are we here if we don't? Honestly, like I believe in these players so much. I just don't see us crumbling mentally. I just don't, like, regardless of what happened. I see the thing there about the Carabao Cup, and I think whatever happens in that, like, it's all noise. Like, all the outside noise. The main thing we got to do is within that group we stay strong. And the reason I was alluding to the squad is because the individual qualities of so many of these players. And I look at people like Timber and I think, God, he's been running to the ground, like, but Ben White, can he get back fit and take some minutes off of him and work? And it has to be this year, mate. And it has to be this year because we've earned it over the last couple of years. And yes, we fell at the final hurdle, but there's always been issues with the squad. It's always been a Rob Holding coming in, or It doesn't exist now. And people, the best thing about this group of players this season is, personally, I look here and I think everyone has had a spell where, like currently at the moment, Zubimendi's not quite on his game, but he's been brilliant. Mosquera come in, unsung hero, absolutely brilliant. Don't even get talked about. That's, Saliba wasn't in the squad for them. Everyone's coming in and doing a bit. You had Calafiori, obviously now Hincapié is like coming into a bit of form when he was struggling initially. Like everyone is doing their bit. Trossard had a good couple of months and contributed. Martinelli is coming up with moments. Bukayo Saka, if he's not playing too well, Madueke had his little spell, and now and then B's coming in. Gyökeres really struggled, and he's the only one that's really been forced to play because we obviously lost them players. But now we've got the luxury of Havertz coming back. We've got Jesus coming back. I think Victor won't be so, scrutinised. And ironically, the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks, he's been in his best form. And I just look at these players. Timber had an odd couple of games, but he's been fantastic. And around the entire squad, and not just the players on the pitch, the players coming off the bench, are so important. And consistency is key. But we have got players that are stepping up, and in the past, the changes that were made, that were enforced, ruined us. Eberechi Eze come in scoring 5 against Spurs, and he was going through a rough period of form, but these players are having big moments. And we're still going to have Odegaard. He hasn't had his moments yet. He's gonna have. Hopefully, he's going to get back fit and have a good 2 months, 3 months end of the season. Really important games coming up. Kai Havertz is going to have his moments for us this season. Gabriel Jesus is going to come in and get back fit, and I just think I believe in these guys. I really genuinely believe in these guys. I trust them. I believe in them. Yes, they're going to make mistakes. Yes, there will be issues along the way. And yes, we've already had issues. And realistically, maybe if we had shown a bit more will to win rather than not to lose, we could be now looking at double figures clear. We could be, because it's all ifs and buts. But the reality is we are where we are because we're fucking good. We're really good. And we're not just in all 4 comps. We're not here for no reason. Across Europe, no one wants to play us, mate. They know. And Roberto Martinez, I don't know if you saw him speaking about Arsenal, and he was essentially saying, like, look, from the outside in, across Europe, Arsenal are, everyone thinks they're unbelievable. And we are unbelievable. And like you're saying, us fans, anxious, nervous, it's all normal. But we've got such a big, important job to do going through these next couple of months. And I know it's a cliche, and I know it works, feeds back if the players are anxious. I know, but we have got to try and do all we can to be there and be loud and get behind these boys, because I trust them. And if we don't trust them, we ain't going to win it. And I just think you have to give them everything you've got. And as I say, they're dying on that pitch. Rice is shattered. They're all going. But we're going to have moments, and it's big. Like losing people like Marino in the past, that would have done us. And Norgard's barely had to have a kick this season. And we've still got players in there that are going to do bits. So I just trust them so much, and I'm excited for the next couple of months. And it's scary to think that we'll get another lucky draw in the FA Cup. We could be, we could get past Mansfield, and it's exciting to think we're in one cup final. We've got a fantastic Champions League draw, unbelievable. I know you've got to play the teams in front of you, but wow, what an opportunity that is there to get to a semi-final, and then over 2 legs. I don't fear anyone. I just don't fear anyone in the world over 2 legs, and the Premier League is 9 games, mate. It's just 9 games. And if I know we'll go a game at a time, but if you can get through the Brighton game, then you've got the 2 home games, Everton and Bournemouth. Yes, they're potential. Like every game's tough at this stage of the season, but look at that. Then 9 points there. There'll be 6 games left going to the Etihad. If we take 9 out of 9, bare minimum, we're going there 5 clear. If we win there, we're 8 clear with 5 games left. I'm telling you now, mate, that carrot is there to dangle. You win these next 3, and during that time, we're going to obviously be playing Champions League. There's FA Cup. We're going to have the League Cup final. There's a lot going on. But how can we not be excited about this? This is what we live for, mate. We are in all 4 comps. We are flying. We are battling every man and his dog. No one wants us to do anything, and we're doing it. And when we can turn around at the end of the season and go, come on, and what are you going to say now? That's when it's all going to be worth it. But of course, it's going to be tough until then, and it is going to be exciting. But let's take it, mate. Let's take it.
Oh, mate,
God,
you're getting me excited. Melissa says, beautifully said, was trust, support, love our boys. Send this speech to Mikel. says Jonathan. And Killeen's here, says, never been so happy to see a linesman's flag. Not the prettiest performance, but we're almost there. A beautiful Champions League draw, League Cup final, first in the Premier League and in the FA Cup. Let's hold our nerve. Just while you were talking about it, oh, by the way, Hassa, one of our channel members, says, can someone please record this marvelous speech? I love every word. There's a couple of audio issues with you tonight, but just a little bit of crackling on the microphone, but it's tolerable. I think people can make out everything that you're saying. While you were talking, our run against Chelsea recently has been absolutely formidable. There you can see the 10 last fixtures that we've had, not even a single defeat. But there we are, top of the table, 5 points clear. A couple of things I want to get your thoughts on. First up, the value of David Raya. What a performance yesterday. Secondly, I've titled this "Taking Our Dogs Out for a Walk," but did you enjoy? Have you seen the slow motion replay of Gabriel's assist for Saliba? The way I saw all these videos about Reece James being back in the mix and how hard he is and how Mr. Chelsea is, right? Gabriel literally takes his shirt, picks him up like Scrappy Doo and deals with him. And it just makes me so happy.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of points. I mean, David Raya's sensational goalkeeper. FK. He's a sensational goalkeeper. But yeah, like you said, taking your dog out for a walk, and he's like they just can't do us at the moment, can they? Chelsea, they just cannot deal with us. But you know, I do think they're a very tough team to play against, and it is just one of them games where we needed to be physically strong. It's a battle, as I said earlier. João Pedro really give our two centre backs, a lot of problems. David Raya, like I said, on another day, it could have been very different. But these are the moments. This is what moments I'm talking about. Big moments, and Dave steps up, mate, and I love that guy. I love watching him play. I think if he could play centre midfield in League One, he's honestly unbelievable on the ball. His ability, long and short passes, the little clip ones, and very rarely does he make a poor pass or a mistake that puts someone in trouble. But he's just a fantastic keeper, and his shot stopping ability, I mean, he makes everything look so easy because he's literally like a cat. He's literally, and I know they say like it's the reflexes, but his reflexes are insane. And yeah, that the goal, the set pieces, the strength of it. Everyone knows what we're going to do, but they can't stop it. And how often do we find ourselves unmarked at the far post? Still, whether it's Jokerit, like it keeps happening, and teams just cannot stop it. And the only sad thing with the set piece scenario at the moment, everything's scrutinised so much now, and eventually there will be, the referees are going to start clamping down on things. But if you watch our teams defend us, it's the same. It's the same. It's holding. There's constant grappling. Players are not watching the ball. Like it is literally. I saw someone say it's like blocking run, and it happens. And it's just whether the referees choose to ignore it or not. But at the moment, you just can't stop us, mate. You cannot stop us. And the way they meet the ball and attack the ball and the delivery. I mean, the Declan Rice delivery again for Timber. It is. I mean, it bamboozles Sanchez. I don't know if you see he got under it and he didn't know where he was. And that is actually he manages to get the ball to come from a height and dip. It just dips it's like a unbelievable the way it dips, and it's like a guided missile, and it just goes and goes poof, straight onto the head every time. And yeah, we're a machine, we're a monster, we're a set piece nightmare for everyone to play against, and that's what I was alluding to in Europe. They won't be able to deal with it, mate. Teams won't be able to deal with it, and that's just the long and short of it. But David Raya, yeah, and I wanted to say as well quickly about Gabriel. I know the João Pedro was offside, but you have to appreciate why he was offside, because a lot of defenders, and if you watch that back, Gabriel was very intelligent, and he stepped out, he jumped out. If you watch it, but a lot of centre backs in that scenario would have followed him. They would have followed him, but Gabriel had the awareness. He knew where his line was, and he knew that if he stepped up there, he played him well offside, and it looked miles off, and it was miles off, but it was only because of Gabriel's awareness. And when you see that back, it's so important, because many defenders there would have followed him. Just it's natural instinct to follow the guy towards the goal, and it would have been onside. But he literally took a huge jump up and played him offside. And even then, I mean, the Raya's saves then, I mean, it's unbelievable. He's just a fantastic keeper, but everyone's having their moments, everyone's contributing, and as I say, we can go through game by game, and you'll be able to talk about individual performances. And I thought Nkapie was fantastic yesterday, and yeah, I mean, yeah, we're just really good.
We are. And listen, just while you were talking about the sort of set pieces, we are the corner kings, these courtesy of the Premier League. We've got 16 goals from corners, is the joint highest, dare I add it, but the focus is only ever on Arsenal. Given that so many of our goals come from set pieces, and it's nice to hear all the praise from the likes of Roberto Martinez, who talks about Europe respecting us, and you've just said, European teams are not going to be ready for us. But there is a negative element in the way that this is being talked about. Arnie Slot sort of talking about it yesterday, saying he's fallen out of love with the Premier League because of the number of set pieces, and it's all becoming quite boring. I had a conversation with many of you all know Lias from SDS, the podcast, and BR Football just today. He was saying he's never seen anything like this, and I was like, well, grappling and jostling for the ball has always happened, but he was like, well, everyone's doing it, and it's becoming very sort of unattractive to watch. Should we care? Do you care?
I don't care. Do you care?
No.
I don't care. I don't care. 38% of our goals set pieces this season in the Premier League. Who gives a shit?
Is that right? 38% of our goals. Wow.
And
I don't care.
For me, mate, ask yourself, why are we getting so many set pieces?
Because we're so dominant and good with the ball.
Exactly. So stop giving us corners. If you don't want us to score them, stop letting us have them. It's simple, isn't it? Or defend better. Honestly, there is a real art to what we do, and it's incredible to see. It's so good that with the amount of variety and the amount of it's the different players that are popping up in different positions. We've had it so many times. Trossard unmarked to the back post. Gyökeres unmarked to the back post. Gabriel the other day back post. Teams can't stop it. But I mean, I let people talk. And every time we score a corner or whatever, let them talk. It doesn't matter. Honestly, it really, really doesn't matter. And as I said, the only reason we get so many opportunities from set pieces is because we are dominant. We are creating chances. We are getting deep. Teams sit deep and low block against us. They're going to concede corners and set pieces. So do what teams do in Europe then and come and try and play us and ask them, what happened to Bayern Munich? What happened to Inter Milan? What happened to Atletico Madrid? You come and play us, mate. We're going to slap you all over the park. So fine, give us boring football, but we'll shit house our way and get our 2 set pieces and win the game. If you want to fight us, we'll fight you. If you want to play us, we'll play you. It's what I always said about them 2 centre backs, Gabriel and Saliba. They can do anything. So if you want to run channels with them, they'll run channels with you. And it's the same with this team. Arteta has created a squad here. This is what I keep alluding to. He has created a squad that is so multifunctional, that can fight in the trenches if they need to fight in the trenches, but they can also play beautiful football and they can go to places like Leeds. And do you know what was happening at Leeds? They were sat in there. We got the set piece goals. Then they tried to open up and look what happened. And not many teams, they're not brave enough to play Arsenal, mate. And it's fine. I'm happy with this. I don't care if we score in 2 corners against Chelsea to win the game because it's what the game needed. We just got to do what we are required to do. And in the past, we were always a soft touch. Arsenal don't know how to get round teams. Arsenal don't know how to break down deep blocks. Arsenal don't like to go when it gets tough in the trenches. They don't want to fight. Now we are ridiculous. We're arrogant. We're aggressive. We're exciting. We've got all the qualities to win titles and be that team with a mentality. The only thing we haven't got is the trophy to show it. But when we get that, then what are they going to say? Because there's nothing to say, because we are fucking incredible, mate. And we've got seriously, seriously good players. We can play brilliant football if teams let us. But if they want to sit in and sit deep and do that, okay, we'll get a set piece and we'll score that way. I'm not bothered. And when you've got Declan Rice, who, honestly, I've watched a lot of football in my lifetime, his delivery is insane. Absolutely insane. Bakayo from the other side as well. Brilliant, and it is huge, and it's an unbelievable weapon. And England, by the way, in the World Cup in the summer, are going to have a field day with James Rice and Saka, and it's going to be a similar thing. So I love watching us. There's different ways to skin a cat, isn't there? And ultimately, if teams ask us to do what we need to do, we'll do it. And we could very well go to Brighton on Wednesday, and they might try and play us. Herzl might open up, they might try and play us, and they will get slapped, mate. They will honestly get slapped because you can't open up against Arsenal. And when you do, and you allow us in there, and then you get tired, and you look up and you see Martinelli coming on, Madueke coming on, Eze coming on, Odegaard coming on, Havertz coming on, Gyökeres coming on. Imagine being absolutely shattered and seeing Victor Gyökeres he's going to come on and run at you like a boulder. You're just not going to want it. And this is what we've got, mate. We've got so much. Calafiori is physically an absolute specimen, massive geezer. Like all throughout the team, you're not getting an easy ride against Arsenal, and I just love it, mate. So yeah, keep them moaning, keep them talking, let them say what they want. The reality is, we do what the game state asks us to do, and if it asks us to get set pieces and win it that way, well, we'll do it. But if you're going to let us play, come on, then we'll play. Let's play football against us and see who wins.
I've missed you so much, man. You're just a wordsmith. You just have a way. The Gyökeres as a trampoline has absolutely killed me. Asta says, "Was his king?" Stop giving us corners, then.
Well, it's
Epic.
quite simple, isn't it?
Hannah Vars asked a question. This is interesting. He's obviously in the background lurking, as he is in the Patreon community. If anybody wants to support the channel for the price of a coffee a month, head over to patreon.com or become a channel member. You'll get ad-free content and access to match tickets and all that sort of stuff. Hannah Varsel is there. He asks who is your player of the season so far? And he says his so far is Saliba. Obviously doesn't want to know my opinion, but what's your thoughts? Player of the season so far? And
tough.
chat, let me know.
Do you know,
Go on.
I mean, it was like I was saying, consistency. I mean, I personally think it's Declan. I love Declan Rice to bits. I think Saliba's been unbelievable, especially like he was out for a bit earlier on in the season, and he's been a colossus, and he's so good. I mean, he was the only player who hasn't scored, wasn't he? One of the only players.
Yeah, probably. There's
Just- I
19
think-
different players we've had
Yeah.
scored
And I
goals.
think he was the last one. So
Wow.
So him getting his goal, like I know it doesn't really matter, but yeah, I mean, I love the great thing about them two, watching them defend. Like Gabriel is pure passion, pure strength. He will smash you. Everything he does is visible. But Big Willie, he is so calm and composed, and 95% of his defensive actions they just go off the radar because he's always in the right position. He very rarely has to break into a sprint, and when he does, he runs so nicely that he doesn't even look like he's sprinting. He's got the weirdest running style ever. He's just super fast without looking like he's even breaking into a stride. Everything he does is just calm, composed, and he loves it. And he loves it. And that's what I said. If he wants to battle, he can battle you, but he tries to keep himself in scenarios where he doesn't need to do that. He lets Gabriel have the fight, and Gabriel loves the fight. Like he would rather fight. Gabriel needs to feel contact. He wants to get up people. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Saliba is more, I'm going to read this pass before it's even been thought of by the geezer about to play the ball because he just sees things. But yeah, I think Saliba's been fantastic. Yeah, Raya and I just love Declan. Right? I mean, the thing with Declan, his ability to carry the ball from one end of the pitch to the other, huge. Obviously, his mentality, everything about the guy, I just love him. But you know, there's going to be everyone's had moments, is what I alluded to earlier, and through the squad you can look and pick out, but you're going to find out the player of the season in these next couple of months because if we can keep them boys fit, and if we don't, we've got players to step in. You know, we're really going to go close in all competitions, in all competitions. But it's just exciting, mate. It's just really exciting, and to be here, thinking we are. Well, how many games are left? Ain't
9
many
in the
left.
league, mate. 9
Nine
in
in
the
the
league.
nine in the league. A maximum of what?
5 in
Four
the
in the,
Champions League.
yeah, 5 in the Champions League. Or no, 6, 7 in the Champions League, isn't it?
Is it 7? I don't
Yeah,
know.
because
What
you've got
round
the
are we?
two.
Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So 7 in the Champions League, and so really, there's
League Cup final, FA Cup,
League
what?
Cup final, and
3
it, like
games?
yeah, and you're not. We're getting close, mate, and we're counting down, and you know, it's just exciting to know that I look at it, and I don't think there's been anyone who I'd say has been exceptional. Do you know, like some like Salah had that season. Like obviously Salah won Liverpool the league by being incredible by himself, but players like Saka, everyone's been good, but no one's really been wow. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm still waiting for that wow, and that could come in, and that's what excites me because it can come in the next couple of months, and if someone hits a purple patch. That's all we need. You know, a purple patch. We've spread the goals around brilliant, but if one of our attackers or 2 or 3 of our attackers can start getting really firing, if Saka can start putting these chances away against Spurs, he could have had 3 or 4, you know, all it takes is start putting these away and we're going to start really scoring goals. And in Europe as well, Saka and Martinelli, they just, you know, teams can't deal with the pace. And then you've got Gyökeres, you've got Havertz, you know, we're going to start really seeing us kick in now, and that's going to be the difference, FK, because in the past we've faltered. we've got to this stage and we have died and we've gone lower and we're more tired and we're not this year. Not this year. We're too good. We've got too much about us, too much in the squad, too many good players, and I just think we're going to elevate and go to another level. I just really think we can. We can.
Adil says we're sleeping on own goal. There's been a top player
Yeah,
for
he's
us
been
this
unreal. Yeah.
season. Well, listen, Ranted, I think, said it earlier. Player of the season, he says, Timber. Urian Timber was my player of the season last year, and
Mm.
I just think what this guy gives us. I mean, it's incredible. And there's probably people watching for the first time tonight thinking, oh, obviously Urian Timber, just because he scored the winner against Chelsea. No, not at all. I have loved Urian Timber for years now. I just think he's at such a level of performance-wise. He's a bit like Saka pre his injury. Like every week, you're just going to get 8, 9 out of 10. And
It's
he's like the
tenacious.
most unassuming, modest, humble character. He doesn't like the headlines, doesn't like the limelight, keeps himself low profile, gets on with his business. You can imagine just going home, spending time with his family, reading the Bible, going to bed. Like,
Mm.
I love everything about him. He's
He's
just a unit as well.
You're
Love him.
right. Yeah, he is a unit, and as you say, he's real qualities. He's so tenacious. He's relentless, tenacious. He epitomizes what I'm saying about this team. They've all got tributes and traits that will not let them fold. Like they just won't. They just will not get in that situation. And I think the biggest credit you can give to Jurien Timber is Ben White was absolutely fantastic for us, and the poor geezer can't get a kick. And and he's a fantastic player still. Benny Blank. I know he's had his injuries and stuff, but I mean, White was so important for us, and then Timber's just come in and just fantastic. But yeah, I mean, and Timber will be tired because he played a lot of football, and we will have occasions where we will rest him, like we will. Like hopefully Ben White can play against Mansfield. I don't know if he's going to be fit, but if not, Mosquera might play right back. Or
What a squad.
yeah, it's just ridiculous, mate. And that quality and that ability to be able to bring these players in, as I said, in the past few seasons, it hasn't been the case. We've built a squad here to compete on all four fronts, and we're competing on all four fronts, and we're going to get stronger. And the key players, our captain has barely kicked a decent ball this season. Kai Havertz has been out the entire season. Jesus has not played. It's just so nice to think that we're going to be back. We're going to be back.
Well, let's talk about our attackers. A lot's been made of how we don't have that out and out. You talked about Mo Salah just a few minutes ago. Single-handedly took Liverpool to that next level. You've got Erling Haaland, who is as inevitable as you can get in front of goal at Manchester City. We have stuttered a little bit, and when you reel out those names, you got Saka and Madueke on the right hand side, you got Martinelli and Trossard on the left hand side. Up top, you've got Victor Gyökeres, Kai Havertz, and Gabriel Jesus. Now the latter two, of course, struggling with injury. In midfield, you've got someone like Ebbs who comes off the bench, £68 million worth of talent, talismanic talent from Crystal Palace, England international. You've got Ødegaard, who hot and cold, but for some reason, it has felt like a struggle this season in terms of just scoring goals from open play. You said it yourself, 38% of our Premier League goals have come from set play. Obviously, nothing to be concerned about, but what does Mikel need to do, in your opinion, to really get the best out of these attackers? Or, it sounds like a daft question because we're both sat here on a Monday night whilst the gaffer's obviously running the club. But from what you see, what would you like him to see, try or do to try and get us playing more free-flowing, swashbuckling football?
It's tough, mate. It's really tough when teams sit in so deep. Like it genuinely is really, really tough. But I alluded to it earlier. I think Gyökeres has played way more minutes than Arteta would have ever anticipated, simply because of Havertz's injury. And I genuinely believe the reason that Gyökeres was signed, he is a £50 million striker, not a £100 million striker, and that is the reality. That's fair. That's not a discredit to him. That's not saying he's shit, but he is limited in what he does. He's very good at what he does, and he gives us a different style of play. But realistically, when you're playing these teams with deep block, he's not intelligent enough to manipulate the ball. And I always think that someone like Kai Havertz or Gabriel Jesus, you start to see more of Martinelli and Saka when them guys are on the pitch, because they drop in, because spaces are created. Then they can make outside to in movement. They can make these runs. Gyökeres won't necessarily do that as much, and he does it on occasion. I mean, we had the other day against Chelsea when he dropped in and we got down the line, the little bit of movement. That can happen a lot more often, but he's just not, he's more inclined to be running the other way. He wants to run channels, he wants to, do that kind of work. And teams where they sit so deep, it's really hard for the ball doesn't stick to him, like we said earlier. And I just think that he would not have been used the way he's been used this season, and it would have been Havertz or it would have been Jesus for the vast majority, and Victor would then be coming on to games to be that battering ram against tired teams to get the goals to. But he's been asked to carry the weight of the team on his back, and he's learned. And he really has learned. And this comment there about Kai, I just genuinely think that Kai Havertz is so important to us these next few months, and getting him fit and getting him ready. Because as I alluded to on the press, but not just that, he's so multifunctional. He's really good in the air. He provides you an ability to whip the ball in, like just cross it in, and he can get on the end of things. He's very, very intelligent, but he drops in and creates spaces and links, and then with all our best free flowing football, you have Havertz, Odegaard, Saka. You know, everyone's linking and moving and playing, and it's really hard to find that. But when you've got someone like Victor, you have to adjust them and sort of play to his strengths, because otherwise it's not going to work. And I just think that signing, we didn't sign Isak because and players like that, because I genuinely think that Kai Havertz is loved so much by Mikel Arteta, and I love him, and I think he's a really underrated player, and he's going to be really important. But I just think we probably haven't looked free flowing mainly down to that. Our sole point of contact at that number 9 is just not what Gyökeres does. And I think it often, the space creation and the way he runs channels and does things like that's great, but it also then impacts a lot on. That's why you've probably been seeing a lot more of Trossard playing, because it kind of stifles Martinelli with, you know, if Gyökeres is running channels, you know, it kind of creates bit of disconnect there. But I just want to see Kai back in there, and I think Gyökeres is going to have a huge part to play come the end of the season, because he's going to be needed and he's going to be coming on and fresh, you know. And the poor guy has come here and he's played almost every kick, you know, because he's had to. But I do think I'm not scared or alarmed about the lack of creativity as such, but you know, it'd be nice to score a lot more goals from open play. But sometimes the games ain't conducive to that. And like I was saying to you earlier, we have to just play what's put in front of us. And the best thing we can do is keep skinning them cats in different ways, because you have to. You're just forced to do it, mate. And we're doing it. We're coming up with answers. We're finding solutions. All right, we've come unstuck a couple of times, but you have to find a way. And if that was City beating Chelsea yesterday, then we going, yeah, they've got the minerals, they've won the title before, Pep knows what. We got over the line, mate. We found a way. 2 set pieces, job done. On to the next one. Thank you very much. 3 points. So, yeah, get Kai back, get the boys rocking and rolling. Calafiori is going to be sensational for us. He's had a nice little rest now. We've been able to rotate him out and keep him ready to go. He's a maverick for us. He's going to be so important. The 2 centre backs, just everyone. Yeah, Zubamendi's slightly fatigued, but you know he's going to be able to get a bit of rest. Hopefully against Mansfield. Hopefully we can have a good result in the first leg against Leverkusen, and we might be able to see some rotation. I'm not underestimating these sides, but you know you do need to manage your squad, and we have got the squad to do it. So we'll be exciting again. If teams want to let us play, mate, we'll play, but they don't.
No, I know.
So,
I know. I think you're spot on. And the way you describe Victor Gyökeres is perfect. I don't think you have to either think he's brilliant or either think he's absolutely terrible. Like he came in to do a job. He's played more games than maybe we thought, and
mm.
the Premier League is fiercely demanding physically, mentally, and I think he's done a good job. Last question before we sort of wrap up and look ahead to the week's fixtures and get your thoughts on the League Cup final. Eze, lots of people in the chat talking about, I'd love to see Eze out on the left-hand side. What's his best position for you? How does Mikel get the best out of him? Because obviously the 5 goals he scored against Spurs, absolutely wonderful. But I need him, and especially now I think I'm hearing Martin Odegaard might be out for a few weeks. So, how do we, a couple of weeks, few weeks, I'm not sure. Please don't sort of quote me on that, but it depends on what you believe and what you read on socials. But, we need to get the most out of Eze. So what do you do with him?
I know what I think will happen with him. I think he'll bench him and play Kai Havertz in that role and keep Gyökeres up front. I genuinely think that's what he's
going to
going
play him on the left. I mean, Martinelli and Trossard haven't really been that good recently.
No, I mean, I think with Ed, he's good. He's really good in a lot of roles. I'd quite like to see him given an opportunity left 8. Like, I really think he could play a bit deeper. He's so good, progressive passing. Obviously he's not going to replace Declan Rice, but what I'm saying in rotation. But it's very easy to look at players like that who come from like Palace, where he's their main man. Everything goes through him. Like all the moments go through him, very, very good. But then you go to Arsenal and you join this squad of players, supremely talented players, and he is, for what we paid for him and what we bought him to do, I think he's done a very, very good job. And it's not easy, as I say, to walk into this team. It's not easy playing against deep blocks when there's no, when we've seen Eze be able to create, it's been often on counters or when Gyökeres is making movements, and it's tough. But he was unlucky the other day, left-footed strike. He's not been poor, Ebbs, and I do think another thing as well that people don't talk about. He made, what was it, 8 more appearances by Christmas than he had at any stage of his career.
Yeah.
So he could be physically. It's not easy, and it's nice to have that joy to be able to rotate. So I don't think there's any issues with Ebbs, and I do think he will be used in rotation like Arteta has. And at one stage, it looked like maybe he was like not falling out of love, but he didn't get that aura from him, And I think seeing him now with Arteta again and the way they're, I think he's back. I think he's got him back on side, and he might have been drifting, and mentality is a big issue there. And I think that he is back and firing on all cylinders on that regard, because it can be really stressful for him. As I said, at Palace, main man, constantly playing, and then going to Arsenal, and all of a sudden you're sat on the bench and you're watching these players and you're thinking, I want to be on that pitch. I so badly want to be a part of that. Like, so badly. Look at what's going on. We're winning all these games. I really want to be on that pitch. And it's going to be tough for him to watch. But then lately he's been playing, getting better, a bit more consistency.
And it's a level up. It's a level up.
It is a level up.
You've come to a big boy club, and you're competing for the biggest honours in the game. And, it's not going to be an easy ride. And look, just on Ebbs, all I'll say is that we know he comes good at springtime. So hopefully March, April, May is the time for him to deliver. Let's wrap up the show, and look ahead to what happens. 9 gargantuan games to go. As you can see, Arsenal are top of the Premier League, ladies and gents, boys and girls. 29 games played, 64 points. Manchester City have that game in hand. They are 59 points, so 5 points behind us. And we have a goal difference that is superior by 4. Fixtures this week: Manchester City host Forest, who are trying to battle relegation, and we go to Brighton. Tough game. What's your mood going into these games? What are you predicting for City and for Arsenal this week?
We both win. We both win these games. City will be far too strong for Forest, I'm afraid. It is what it is. But I'm not. We just got to keep looking at ourselves, and it's an old cliche. But you win your games. There's nothing anyone can do. And as I said to you, these next 3, these are vital, because regardless of what City do, worst case scenario, we'll be going to the Etihad 5 clear if we win our 3 games. And then we go there 5 clear, and if we win, if you go to the Etihad and you win and you go 8 points clear with 5 games to go, I'm sorry, mate. Get the champagne out. It's like
let's not get carried away.
No, I'm not getting carried away, mate.
No. But I mean, winning at City is obviously going to be a huge ask. But the next 3 that you're talking about, obviously Brighton away, Everton at home. Everton are now the second most informed team away from home in the league, and Bournemouth at home. Those are the 3 fixtures before we go to the Etihad in that league encounter. Those are the 3 that you're saying was 9 out of 9. It's got to be.
Has to be, and do you know what? It isn't over if it isn't, but it's still in. It has to be 9 out of 9. You can't afford to have a Forest moment. We've had our moments this season now. Now, 9 games turns into 6 games, very quickly. And your 9 points here are huge, because, as I say, just go in there mentally, knowing you're 5 clear. And all right, if you lose at the Etihad and then it's out of your hands because of the game in hand. But what a joy to be able to go there and say, I'm 5 clear and we got an opportunity to do something spectacular here and shut up all the critics and turn up. And don't get me wrong, we've got to win these 3 games. You've got to take it a game at a time. You can't look too far ahead. Going to be tough, like you said. Everton are in form, and not easy teams to play. But I just think we'll find a way. Like, we will find a way in these games. And Brighton away is very tough. But again, if they open up a bit and try and play, good night. Like, we're gonna do something there. So you just got to be excited, but also in the middle of all of that, as I say, you got Champions League, you got League Cup final. There's a lot. There's going to be a lot of fixtures. They're going to come thick and fast. We're going to need this squad. But the only way I look at it, mate, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm full of trust, full of belief. I am excited, and I just think the only way this squad can be seen as champions, obviously, is by winning it. And you're only people can talk as much as they want, but when the dust has settled and it's done, and we're lifting that trophy at the end of the season, no one can say anything, and we are over the line. And then, how much do you want to go over the line? Because I'm telling you, you could do something spectacular this season. You really could do something spectacular this season if you want to. So enjoy it, be focused, be passionate, be aggressive, but be there, and we're going to do it, mate. And Brighton is tricky. Everyone will be tricky. Bournemouth will be tricky. Every game's tricky. The stress and the pressure, the anxiety. 9 games, a lot can happen, but come on, man. We got to believe. You do not get here. You do not go through that pain for the last 3 years. You do not allow yourself to fold, and they won't. And I trust them and believe them, and I genuinely mean that.
I hope so. So listen, I can't not get your thoughts on the League Cup final. It's a massive game. It's coming up in just under 3 weeks' time at Wembley Stadium, 22nd of March, Sunday, 4:30 p.m. Is this the game that could decide it all? I mean, that's what I've been hearing on sort of TalkSport and the media, former players saying this could be the catalyst or it could be the demise. Where's your head at?
That's what they want you to believe. That's what people want it to. They want to build it up to be that, but ultimately, it isn't the demise. It isn't the be all and end all. Like, things happen. You know, teams bounce back from scenarios and win titles, and ultimately, it's important, I think, to get that trophy. I really do think it is important to get that trophy, but it's also not the be all and end all. Like, you're not gonna lose that game and then crumble. Like, it's not gonna happen. That's what they think. That's what people want you to believe, and that's what an Arsenal of 3 years ago will have done. You know, it's okay to believe it's pivotal. It's okay to think it's very important. Of course, it is a cup final. We all want to win it, but the reaction either way, you know, will be amplified. And I just want to stay level headed. I want to get the result done, get the cup won. It ain't going to change anything in the league, because City is still going to be buzzing for it. We're still going to be buzzing for it. There's a lot of games to come, I know, but I just, as I keep alluding to, I trust and believe in them, mate. And whatever happens in that cup final, obviously I fancy us, and I think we're going to win. And we're favourites for a reason. We're favourites to win the game for a reason. You know, bookies very rarely get it wrong. We're going out there as a really good side. You know, the head-to-heads against City are always difficult. They're always great encounters, but we can do it. And it will be a game that is decided on moments. It will be a game that is decided on moments, and big moments. Big players will take big moments. And who's going to stand up? Who's going to be that one? Who's going to put their chest out? Who's going to have them bollocks swinging and take it by the neck and do it, mate? Because someone will. Because everyone's at stages of this season, everyone's stepping up. So it's, for me, who's next, and that cup final winner, who wants it?
Indeed. The beauty of the pencil says, I've never had more conviction that we'll win at the Etihad. I think that a lot of that's down to was in the dressing room, says Anajit. Listen, there's a lot of football to come, ladies and gents, boys and girls. Arsenal have those 3 league games that we've just talked about. Then, of course, we go to Wembley to play Manchester City, and that first of 4 potential sort of run-ins, honours, trophies, that pursuit. It's going to be absolutely insane over the next few weeks. What can I say? What can I say? I have thoroughly enjoyed tonight's show, man. It's just great to see you on screen, great to hear your voice, great to hear your thoughts, great to know that you're back at Arsenal. All of us that are in the chat, I know, and certainly the Patreon group, looking forward to you joining tonight. We wish you all the very best with your up and coming sort of follow-ups and checkups, and nothing would please me more than to be with you at the Emirates Stadium on a day, maybe at the parade if we win 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. I can't wait to see you, man, and I really have enjoyed coming, having you back on tonight. So hopefully you've enjoyed that.
Absolutely loved it. Yeah, thank you.
Good, and I'd love to have you back on more. You know that it's an open invite for you. Umair says, has been brilliant tonight, inspirational. Thank you. Tom says, really isn't that important. Win great cup winners, lose. Oh, win great cup winners. Lose, you get your arse. Arteta will use that as fuel. Yes, I think he probably will. Listen, thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. The chat's been wild. If you have enjoyed the content, please do, of course, subscribe to Latte Firm. We're on our way to 30,000 subs. And if you are watching, please do drop a like on the video. It's a massive help to the channel. The match reaction video is on the feed. I'll be back tomorrow with a preview of the Brighton game. The fixtures kick off tomorrow as well. And then Wednesday night after the Brighton game, we'll go live on the Whistle for the match reaction video. Thursday, I'm out of town. And then Friday, we'll have the late night lounge. If anybody wants to follow Woz, he's available on socials at Northbank Woz. Woz, fantastic to see you. You're still getting so much. Look at this. Woz is top. Great show as usual. Great show, chaps. Love that. If Mikel needs a motivational speaker, Woz is the guy. Thank you, gents. Respect from Jizzle McDizzle. Look after yourselves, chaps and chapesses. Enjoy your night. Tomorrow, another round of Barclays kicks off. It's relentless. Look after yourselves. Take care. Bye for now.